I knew before I saw it. That smell, cologne I didn't wear, clung to the bedsheets like a warning. It hit me the second I dropped my gym bag by the door. Something citrusy, synthetic, expensive. I stood there in the bedroom, unmoving, staring at the unmade bed. My side still tucked, hers a mess of blankets and sweat. The window was open, letting in the humid Virginia air. Her hairbrush was on the floor, bristles bent. I noticed 2 coffee mugs on the nightstand, both half full. One had lipstick. The other, darker, heavier, still steamed slightly. Fresh. My name is Greg Weston. I'm 38. I run a home inspection business in Stafford County. 12 years in, I've seen everything rot from the inside. Houses, marriages, nothing surprises me anymore. Except this. My wife, Natalie, is 36. We've been married for 8 years. No kids by her choice. Maybe later, she always said. Lately, that phrase had shifted. Why ruin what we have? She told me last month. She smiled when she said it. But something in her voice was dead. She's beautiful. Blonde hair always perfect, even when she says she's tired. Works part-time at a local interior design studio, mostly online clients. Our neighbor across the street, Trent Harris, hired her to help with his remodel. I didn't think much of it. He's 42, divorced, runs a real estate office from his home. One of those ex-frat types who still lifts and drinks like he's 22. They were always friendly, laughing on the driveway, trading garden tools, wine bottles passed across fences. She called him harmless. Said I was too suspicious. But I wasn't suspicious. Not yet. It started with the coffee mugs. Then the texts, names missing from the preview, her phone face down. She began locking the bathroom when she showered. Subtle shifts. Nothing big. But taken together, they formed a picture. And now the cologne, his cologne, was the signature. I didn't confront her that night. She came home late, said she stayed to help Trent with lighting fixtures. I said nothing. Just nodded, watching her peel off her blouse, her skin still flushed. She avoided my eyes. That was the moment I knew. Not suspected. Knew. I lay awake that night, the ceiling fan humming above us. Her breathing slow, steady, untouched. And I made a decision. I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't beg. I would find out everything. And when I confronted her, I'd already have the kill shot. I started small. Patterns, not guesses. She left every Tuesday and Friday around 3 p.m., said she was meeting clients downtown. But the traffic app on her phone, synced to our shared iPad, told a different story. The location tags put her near Lake Ridge. Close. Too close. That's where Trent lives. On Sycamore Lane. 4 blocks from us. I screenshotted the data. Saved it. Built a folder. Natalie_track. On my locked external drive. Every visit timestamped. 37 times in 2 months. Always between 3 and 6 p.m. Sometimes less. Sometimes longer. Then came the name. I was in the garage looking for a tape measure when I found her gym bag. It wasn't hers, not really, it was one I'd bought for her 3 Christmases ago. She never used it. I unzipped it out of habit. Inside, towel, makeup wipes, mints, perfume, and a crumpled receipt. From his house. An Instacart order, delivered to Trent Harris, 109 Sycamore. 2 wines. 1 box of chocolates. 1 box of protection. The timestamp? Tuesday. 2 hours after she said she was at a client consult. I scanned the label. Her name wasn't on it. But the bag was in our house. And that was enough. Still, I didn't react. I sealed the bag, slid it back into the shelf corner, and left it there like a trap. That Friday, I watched from my truck, parked behind the Walgreens near his street. 2:57 p.m., she turned in. Her white Audi glided up his driveway. The front door opened before she even knocked. He was wearing a gray shirt. Nothing on underneath. She walked in like it was routine. Like it was home. They didn't close the blinds. I waited 20 minutes. Then drove home. Poured myself a whiskey and sat on the patio with the sprinklers on, watching the neighborhood breathe. That night, she came home humming. Hair slightly wet, skin fresh. Said she grabbed dinner with Andrea. Even laughed. I nodded, handed her a wine glass, and asked how the lighting project was going. She blinked. Then smiled. Trent's happy, she said. Almost done. Then added, at least someone is excited about the house. I tilted my head. She laughed again and walked to the bedroom. It was then I saw it, under her left ear, just above the collarbone. A faint bruise. Small. Circular. Fresh. Saturday morning, I made her breakfast. 2 eggs, sourdough toast, half an avocado, black coffee, her usual. She blinked when she saw the tray, but didn't say thank you. Just picked at the toast and scrolled through her phone. Her robe hung loosely off one shoulder. I watched her fingers, how they danced fast when texting, paused only when she felt my eyes. Big plans today? I asked. Laundry, then maybe Target, she said without looking up. You? Garage work. Might finally hang that shelf you keep mentioning. She smiled at that. But it didn't reach her eyes. I waited until she left. Then I went back into the bedroom. Her laptop was on the dresser, closed. I opened it. Locked. But not the guest profile. I clicked it open. Chrome was clean. Nothing useful. Until I opened iMessage on the synced app. She forgot to log out last time. And there it was. His name wasn't saved. Just a number. But the thread was alive. I miss Thursday. Your smell is still on me. You're driving me insane, Nat. Can I see you Sunday morning? I'll make sure the kids are out. Her replies were worse. God, I hate going home after you. He notices nothing. Honestly, it's pathetic. Sunday works. Make me feel something again. I stared at that last line. The words blurred at the edges, but not because I cried. I don't cry. I don't have that luxury anymore. Make me feel something again. Like I was numb. Like I was absence. A placeholder. She didn't just cheat. She replaced. I printed the entire thread. Every message. Every photo. Then I pulled data from the laptop. Locations, login times, browser history, cached images. Organized it all by date. I wasn't rushing. I wanted the weight. I needed it heavy. That night, she showered for 30 minutes. I stood by the bedroom door, listening to the water hit tile. Imagining him. Her. The angles of it. The rhythm. When she stepped out wrapped in steam and a towel, I handed her a mug of tea. She smiled. You're being sweet lately. I nodded. Trying to be, I said. You deserve to feel something. She froze for a second. Just a second. Then smiled again, thinner this time. Thanks, she said. But I wasn't thanking her. I was marking her. The next morning, I woke before her and opened the hall closet. Behind the winter coats, inside an old shoebox marked Smaz lights, I placed the voice recorder. Battery full. Set to record when it picks up voices. I tested it the night before in the garage. Range was decent, audio clear. I didn't need every word, just enough. That Sunday, she left early. Hair done, lips colored. Said she needed groceries. No list. No bags. No questions. I followed 10 minutes later. She didn't go to the grocery store. She parked in Trent's driveway. I didn't watch this time. I went back home and waited. 3 hours. When she returned, I was in the garage, hands deep in fake drywall dust. She gave me a Target bag and a kiss on the cheek. I smiled. She went straight to the bedroom and showered. After she left for yoga that afternoon, I retrieved the recorder. 3 hours of audio. I spent that night listening. Most of it was small talk. Laughter. Glasses clinking. Some silence, breath, movement. Then the clearest part. Natalie. Do you ever think about telling them? Trent. Why? You're not leaving him. And I'm not messing with custody again. Natalie. I might. Trent. You say that every time. Natalie. He's a ghost lately. I don't even think he'd care. Trent. Then why haven't you done it? Natalie. Because I want to feel something real first. Then maybe. A pause. Then something soft. A moan, maybe? I stopped listening. That was enough. I copied the file to a hidden folder. Then I sent it to a friend, Josh, who works in IT at the local police department. Told him I needed help cleaning up audio for a personal issue. No questions asked? He's discreet. That night, we sat on the couch. Natalie curled up against me like nothing was wrong. Her head on my shoulder. We watched a cooking show. She laughed at something stupid. I felt her breath on my neck. She was playing house. And I was letting her. Because now I was in control. The proof was building. The cracks had started. She just didn't see them yet. The slip came on a Wednesday. Nothing dramatic. Just a name, wrong time, wrong tone. We were at the neighbor's barbecue, a yearly thing. Backyard packed with lawn chairs and plastic plates. Natalie wore a short floral dress. Casual, calculated. She mingled like a pro, laughing with wives, teasing husbands, dropping compliments like coins. Trent was there, of course. Cargo shorts, Ray-Bans, beer in hand. He stayed across the yard, keeping his distance like they rehearsed it. But I watched her watch him. Every time he laughed, her chin tilted. Her fingers traced her wine glass in little spirals. When he left to grab more beer from his cooler, she excused herself and disappeared inside the house. 5 minutes later, he followed. 7 minutes after that, they both reappeared, her lips glossier, his shirt untucked. No one noticed. But I did. Later that night, we were driving home. She was tipsy. Not drunk, open. That's when it happened. I asked casually if she thought Trent's new patio looked expensive. She laughed. Oh, he didn't pay for it, she said. I mean, not directly. I turned. She blinked, realizing. I mean, I think he got a deal, she added too fast. Friend of a friend or something. The silence stretched. I let it hang. Back home, she went straight to bed. Claimed a headache. I sat outside on the porch, phone in hand, scrolling back through the photos she'd posted last month. In one, she was standing next to the patio in question. Her caption: helping Trent pick out the perfect layout. Designer life. A joke, maybe? But the timestamp? Matched one of the days she claimed to be at her mom's. That's the thing about liars. They forget the shape of their own story. The next morning, she was quiet. Making eggs. Coffee. No eye contact. I said nothing. Just watched her butter toast. Later that day, I checked our credit card statement. She'd made a $720 purchase at a boutique home supply store 2 towns over. Same day as the patio post. I called the store. Asked what was bought. Outdoor lighting. Designer planters. Custom fire pit glass. All delivered to one address. Trent's. I printed the receipt. Slid it into the growing folder labeled Natalie. She hadn't slipped. She'd cracked. And I was widening the fracture, piece by piece. There's a mirror in our hallway, just outside the bathroom. Oval, brass-trimmed, mounted at eye level. Natalie picked it out 3 years ago at an antique store. Said it made the space feel alive. Lately, I catch her pausing there. Not to check makeup. Just staring. Like she's trying to see who's looking back. One morning, I stood at the kitchen sink, watching through the reflection as she passed. She stopped, fingers brushing her collarbone, right where I'd seen the bruise weeks before. Nothing there now. But she touched it like it still burned. Then she walked on. I kept watching that mirror. It became my signal. Later that day, I tested her again. I left the back door unlocked. Midday. Her car gone. I texted her. Hey, forgot to lock up. Can you check the door when you get home? She replied 10 minutes later. All locked. Don't worry, Rehart. Problem was, I had left it open. Wide. When I got home that night, the door was still ajar. She'd never checked. I confronted her over dinner, not aggressively. Just asked, "Did you check the back door like I asked?" She hesitated. Then nodded. Yeah. It was locked when I got in. I set my fork down. Natalie, I left it open on purpose. Her face went blank. Not shocked, calculating. Then she laughed soft. Well, maybe I'm wrong, she said. You probably closed it and forgot. You've been tired lately. There it was. The deflection. She reached for my hand. You okay, babe? You've been off. That word. Off. It landed like a nail. I'm fine, I said. Just noticing things. Her grip loosened. That night, I checked the mirror again. She stopped there longer this time. Tilted her head. Touched her lips. Practicing, maybe? Or wondering what version of herself she had left. The woman in the mirror didn't smile back. Friday evening, I came home early. She didn't hear me, music playing low, that playlist she always puts on when she's feeling reckless. I stepped into the hallway silent. The smell of wine and candle wax hung thick. I followed it to the bedroom. She was on the phone. Her back to the door, barefoot, pacing slowly. I heard her voice, low and intimate. No, he has no idea. I think he still believes it's just work stress. Yeah. Sunday. Same time. Then silence. Then a gasp. She'd turned, and seen me standing there. Not startled. Not guilty. Just frozen. Like a mask cracking. I didn't move. Just tilted my head slightly. Who are you talking to? I asked. She blinked. Wet her lips. No one, she said too fast. Just Andrea. She's having a hard time with. Don't lie, I said, voice flat. She hesitated. Then softened. I'm not lying. Can't I talk to my friend without being interrogated? I looked at her, really looked. Hair curled. Lip gloss fresh. Wine still swirling in the glass on the dresser. The mirror behind her caught the whole scene. She stepped forward, voice sweetening. Greg, what is this about? You've been so distant. I feel like you're always watching me. I didn't answer. Just walked over, picked up her phone from the bed, and opened it. Locked. I handed it to her. Unlock it. Her mouth opened slightly. Then closed. You don't trust me? She asked, quiet now. I didn't blink. Unlock it. She stared at the screen. Then at me. I don't like who you're becoming, she whispered. And for a second, I thought she might cry. But she didn't. She handed me the phone. Unlocked. I scrolled. No texts. No call log. No history. Wiped. She was thorough. But not perfect. Because when I checked the recently deleted folder, 2 numbers sat there. One saved as T. One unsaved. I clicked the unsaved one. The last message read, Sunday's set. I need it. I looked up. She was already walking away. I didn't stop her. I didn't need to. She had just shown me everything. And now? Now came the discovery. I installed the camera 2 weeks before the barbecue. A tiny black square tucked behind the AC vent in our living room, motion activated, wide angle, records to the cloud. Natalie never noticed. She never looks at vents. By now, I had over 70 hours of footage. Most of it, nothing. Her scrolling her phone, sipping wine, pacing. But I wasn't looking for the everyday. I was looking for the gaps. Sunday. 10:03 a.m. Natalie enters from the garage. Makeup done. Wearing that maroon dress with the low back. Her phone buzzes. She checks it, smiles. Adjusts her bra in the hallway mirror. Then slips into the kitchen and pulls out a second wine glass from the cabinet. Pours two. Sets them down. Then disappears off screen. 5 minutes later, Trent enters from the side door. Quiet. Confident. Like it's his house. Like he's done it before. They don't talk much. She leans into him. He wraps his hand around her waist. They kiss. She says, "Upstairs?" He nods. They go. 15 minutes later, the camera catches sound. Faint. Bedroom floor above creaking. Then silence. 37 minutes pass before they come down again. She's laughing. He kisses her shoulder and says, "You still good for Thursday?" She nods. He leaves through the same side door. She pours the untouched wine down the sink. Then wipes the glasses clean. I watched it twice. No emotion. Just details. Her timing, her posture, how she glances at the hallway mirror before going upstairs. She wanted to see herself. To see that version. I clipped the video. Cropped it. Labeled the file. Natalie_home_visit_proof_4. That made 4 separate videos. 2 here. 2 at his house, captured by a camera I placed inside his mailbox after dark. A battery-fed camnat picked up them kissing in his driveway. The audio's rough, but the visuals are clear. I backed up everything on a drive stored at my office. Password protected. Off network. Then made 2 copies. One stayed in a sealed envelope under my car's spare tire. The other? I labeled it with her name, and tucked it behind a loose panel in the hall closet. Right behind the mirror. She hadn't seen herself clearly in a long time. But she would soon. It wasn't rage. Not hate either. It was preparation. Like lining up surgical tools before the first cut. I started rehearsing in my head, scenarios, variables, responses. Her expressions, his excuses. I played them out like theater. The goal wasn't confrontation. It was exposure. I wanted the exact moment their story collapsed in public air. No screaming. No chaos. Just a precise incision, truth with nowhere to run. I picked the setting, our neighborhood HOA meeting. A neutral ground. Casual, unsuspecting. 15 people. Folding chairs in Trent's driveway, under a string of lights. Every spouse there. Cameras always rolling. Trent loves to document for the HOA Facebook group. Perfect. The day before, I printed the photos. Trent's driveway. Their wine glasses. Her in the maroon dress at our front door, letting him in. I slid each into labeled folders. One for each attendee. Tucked in a satchel I'd carry like a laptop case. Then I printed the transcripts. Verbatim messages. Make me feel something again. He has no idea. It's sad. The way you touch me, God, I miss it. Proof. Layered. Chronological. At the bottom of each folder, I clipped the QR code. It linked to the footage. No narration. No commentary. Just the raw act. Let them interpret. But I didn't stop there. I dug into Trent's business license. Found the local inspector's flag from a few months ago. He'd bypassed permits for a patio extension. Quiet violation. Still under review. But one letter from a resident could spark a full investigation. So I drafted that letter. Anonymous. Factual. Attached photo evidence. I timed the mail. It would land the same day the video spread. I even scheduled a Dropbox upload of the footage to go live mid-meeting. It would ping the HOA chat in real time. All automated. All clean. On the night before, I sat on the porch with a beer. Natalie came out, wrapped in a blanket, curled beside me. "You've been different lately," she said. I nodded. "Trying to be better." She smiled. Kissed my cheek. Whispered, "I'm glad. I missed this version of you." I looked at the dark horizon, watching the house across the street. "I'm glad you feel something," I said. She didn't hear the echo. but I did. The night of the HOA meeting, the air was warm, still, heavy. Folding chairs lined up on Trent's driveway, paper lanterns hanging overhead. Cheap wine, soda cans, plastic bowls of chips. A dozen neighbors making small talk about fence repairs, dog noise, tree trimming. Natalie stood beside me, holding a cup of sangria, laughing at something trivial. She wore a white blouse, thin, flowing, like she wanted to be watched but not blamed. Trent made his usual rounds. Charming! Firm handshake. Eye contact. He smiled at me like we were friends. He even asked about my business. I said it was steady. The meeting began, updates from the landscaping committee, budget talk. Trent stood at the front, clipboard in hand, leading the show. A born performer. Then my phone buzzed. 8:14 p.m. The Dropbox link posted to the HOA group chat. I didn't look at it. I just waited. 10 seconds later, someone in the second row checked their phone. Paused. Tapped the screen. Another looked over. Gasps don't echo in crowds. They ripple. Trent's wife, seated on the left, next to their teenage daughter, was the first to react. Her jaw slackened. Then her hand shot to her mouth. She turned to him, eyes wild. "What is this?" she hissed. Trent blinked, confused. Then his phone buzzed too. Natalie froze beside me. She knew. Didn't say a word, just slowly turned to face me. "Greg." I didn't respond. Didn't look at her. I pulled the satchel from under my chair and stood. "Some of you may have already seen it," I said, voice calm. "But for those who haven't, inside these folders are records. Screenshots. Messages. GPS logs. And video. All time-stamped. All real." I handed the folders out one by one. No dramatics. No speeches. Neighbors took them in silence. Flipped them open. Pages turned. Breathing shifted. Trent tried to speak. His mouth opened, then closed. Natalie stood rooted, pale, unmoving. I turned to her finally. "You wanted to feel something?" I said. "This is what truth feels like." And then I walked away. Left them both under the paper lanterns, the plastic chairs, the cheap wine, and the wreckage. She didn't follow. Neither did he. The silence after was deep. Precise. Natalie didn't come home that night. I knew she wouldn't. I'd removed her garage remote that morning. Changed the house code. Her key still worked, but the locks had shifted by then. So had the balance. She texted me once. "Can we talk?" I didn't reply. By noon the next day, her sister called me. "Greg," she said carefully, "Natalie's staying with me for now. She's shaken. Humiliated. What you did, at that meeting, it was brutal." I didn't say anything. She filled the silence. "She's saying you tricked her. Lied to her. That you planned it for months." "I did," I said. A pause. Then a click. She hung up. By evening, the footage was everywhere. The HOA chat, the Facebook group, next door. People didn't comment much. But they saw it. Trent's business page, his landscaping company, vanished overnight. Yelp buried him in one-star reviews. Photos from the HOA meeting leaked to Reddit. Cheater exposed at suburb meeting. Get 500,000 views in 36 hours. His ex-wife filed for emergency custody review 2 days later. Natalie? She tried damage control. Claimed it was emotional, not physical. Said we had problems long before Trent. That I was cold. Distant. Obsessive. But the footage, her words, her touches, didn't match the story. She lost control of the narrative. The shadow followed her. Her job put her on leave, for reputation reasons. Clients pulled out. Her studio removed her photo from the website. I heard she moved into a hotel for a while. Trent stopped showing up at the gym. Someone spray-painted "Homewrecker" on his truck. A neighbor said he looked 10 years older overnight. Natalie emailed me once more. Was any of it ever real for you? I stared at the message for a long time. Then deleted it. She didn't want truth. She wanted an exit. But I'd already sealed every door behind her. It arrived on a Thursday. A plain envelope, hand-delivered. No return address, but I recognized the handwriting. Hers. Natalie had always looped her YS like cursive fishhooks. Inside, one folded page, 2 sentences. Let's keep it clean. No lawyers yet. Just talk. Underneath, a time, a place, our favorite coffee shop. Neutral. Public. Pretending to be safe. I went. Not for closure. For leverage. She was already there when I walked in. Hair tied back. Minimal makeup. A gray hoodie pulled over a white tee, costume of humility. But the eyes gave her away. Bloodshot. Calculating. I didn't sit. I'll give you 10 minutes, I said. She gestured to the seat. I didn't move. Greg. I never wanted this to become war. I stayed quiet. She swallowed. I made a mistake. 1,000 of them, actually. But I wasn't the only problem in our marriage. You stopped seeing me. Listening. There it was. The pivot. From apology to blame. I let her talk. 10 minutes turned to 12. Then I dropped the folder. One sheet inside. Our financials. Broken down. Color-coded. A clean summary of who brought what. Her name wasn't on the deed. Her accounts were half what she claimed. And the prenup, signed in 2017, tucked and forgotten, was ironclad. She blinked. I spoke to an attorney, I said, voice flat. Here's what's going to happen. I outlined the terms. She leaves the house voluntarily. No claim on assets beyond what's written. No alimony. No public statements. In return, I don't publish the rest. She stared at me. What do you mean, the rest? I opened my phone. Cued a second Dropbox link. Inside, footage she hadn't seen. Phone calls. Her mocking me to Trent. Him laughing. Plans to use my name for a business license. Collateral. Her voice broke. You wouldn't. I met her eyes. I would. You set fire to everything. I'm just showing people the ashes. She reached for the folder. I stopped her hand. This isn't revenge, Natalie. It's documentation. She didn't respond. She didn't cry. She just sat there, hands in her lap, while I turned and walked out. I didn't look back. Because the next move wasn't hers anymore. Saturday morning, 8:07 a.m., I changed the locks. Not symbolic, legal. Her name wasn't on the deed, and after her agreement on paper, she had no claim. I replaced the deadbolt, the smart keypad, even the garage code panel. She texted at 9:42. Can I stop by and get my things? I replied. Leave a list. I'll have them boxed. At 11:15, she was outside. I watched from the upstairs window as she stood on the porch, knocking, soft at first, then louder. Her makeup was smudged. Her posture small. She called. I let it ring. 30 minutes later she left. I waited another hour before opening the door. The scent of her still lingered in the hallway, faint perfume, burned-out candles, a life peeled off the walls. I packed her things myself. Each item wrapped in newspaper. Labeled. Neat. 3 boxes. 1 duffel. I dropped them at her sister's house that evening. Didn't stay. Didn't knock. Just left them on the porch and walked back to the truck. Trent? His fall came sharper. His wife's emergency custody filing went through. His kids were gone by the end of the week. A neighbor snapped a photo of him dragging trash bags to the curb, his face hollow. The landscaping company, now under audit for permit violations, was suspended. 3 clients pulled contracts. He called once. Left a voicemail. Whatever you think she meant to you, she meant less to me. I didn't respond. Because his punishment wasn't silence. It was exposure. The kind that stuck to your name, your business, your bank account. Natalie's last email came the day after the locks changed. No subject. Just, "I don't even know who you are anymore." I read it once. Then dragged it to trash. Because that was the point. The version of me she remembered, the one she underestimated, didn't exist anymore. The man who packed her memories into boxes, filed receipts, organized footage, planned this out with surgical patience? That was someone new. Someone permanent. The envelope was already sealed. Inside, final divorce papers. No dispute. No alimony. No asset split. Clean. Sharp. Surgical. All that was left was her signature. I had it delivered, via courier. No text. No warning. She'd know what it meant the second it arrived. She signed within the hour. No note. No call. Not even a return address on the envelope that came back. It was pure silence. I took the signed papers to my attorney the next morning. He looked them over, nodded, slid them into a manila folder with the practiced detachment of someone who's seen too many endings. "Cleanest exit I've seen in 5 years," he said. I didn't respond. Just stood, shook his hand, and walked out. On the way home, I took a detour, Sycamore Lane. Trent's house was dark. For sale sign up. Price slashed. No cars in the driveway. It looked smaller now. Back home, I walked into the bedroom, stripped the linens, dumped them in a trash bag. Boxed up the last 2 picture frames. One of us on the coast, one at her sister's wedding. Her smile in both, wide, controlled. Gone. I took down the hallway mirror. The one she used to pause in front of. I didn't break it. Just unscrewed the bolts and slid it into the garage, face down. I didn't need reflection anymore. That night, I had a drink alone. Not to celebrate. Not to grieve. To mark it. The end of the version of me she thought would never leave. The signature wasn't the end of our marriage. It was the start of her consequences. I moved 2 months later. Not far, just west, out toward the edge of town. Smaller place, single story, less polished. But quiet. Clean. Mine. The neighbors wave, but don't ask questions. Perfect. I never updated Natalie. She tried once more, an email with no greeting, no subject. Just a question. "Do you ever miss what we had?" I deleted it without opening. That was her version of grief, retroactive nostalgia. Rewriting the past into something she thought I might miss. But I don't miss lies. I don't miss pacing by that hallway mirror, waiting for a woman who came home smelling like someone else's life. I don't miss the sound of her voice trying to bend reality. I miss nothing. Her sister reached out last week. Said Natalie's moved in with friends, bouncing between couch cushions and small freelance jobs. Her social presence is quiet now. No new photos. Just filtered quotes about healing and growth. That's her version of damage control. Trent? Last I heard, he's selling lawn equipment out of a warehouse in Fredericksburg. Clients dried up. His name's tainted. The community he smiled through doesn't smile back. Good. This story doesn't end with a second chance. No reconnection. No lingering glances across old restaurants. It ends with space. With the silence of knowing she wakes up each day aware that I didn't just survive it. I chose it. Because here's the truth no one wants to admit. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. It's clean. Quiet. Surgical. It looks like a locked door. A deleted thread. A mirror, face down in the garage. And the weight of knowing she'll never get back the version of me she betrayed. Not because I hate her. Because I don't remember who she is anymore.